before I run them now. Yes, welcome to the land of ideas. My audience, I was speaking to the wall apparently last time. My name is Katja Becker-Sliwa and I am the representative of the DAAD in the Philippines. DAAD stands for German Academic Exchange Service, and we are an organization of German institutions of higher education sponsored by the German government and also partly by the EU. I think we are mostly known for our scholarships. So far, we funded the studies of 2.5 million people, Germans to study abroad and international students to study in Germany. And 2019, we also sponsored, I think, 119 Filipinos to study in Germany. So hopefully, I heard there are 250 people now looking at the presentation. So maybe we can increase the 100 to 300 students, Filipino students next year studying in Germany. Okay. And we do this, we give scholarships away because we believe in the student mobility and also in collaboration in the academia. Yes, why was the title of my presentation, Welcome to the Land of Ideas? Because look at all those people here. And they are all from Germany or with a German background, or they did study in Germany. 84 Nobel Prize winners are from Germany. And by the way, from those 84 Nobel Prize winners, 18 are DAAD alumni. So maybe you should check out our scholarship database, right? And yes, then maybe your name will be on one of those slides because you were sitting together in the study groups in Germany and inventing, discovering things. Yes, and maybe you end up working in one of those famous German corporations who are operating worldwide. But before we talk about working, you have to study, and you will not be alone as an international student. I think we do have 13% of international students in our universities. And we have 430 institutions you can choose from. And those are divided in 4 groups. We do have universities, which do have a more theoretical, methodical approach. But if you're more the hands-on type, then maybe a University of Applied Science would be better for you. They are working very closely with the professional market together. Like, they invite people from companies to do lectures. You have to do an internship at companies, and you can already build on your network. We do have colleges of music, art, and film if you're more the creative type of person who would like to study design or voice, for example. And we do have private colleges, not so much. I think a bit more than 100. Usually our institutions of higher education are state-sponsored. Like in the Philippines, you can do your bachelor and your master and your PhD. For PhD, we do have a structural program where you are in a little study group with other PhD candidates together. And we have like an open program where it depends a lot on your own discipline to do your PhD, and you only work with your doctor father or doctor mother together. Yeah, usually the question, and I also saw it in the chat already, is, do I need to know German? Not necessarily. If you choose one of the 2,000 programs being taught in English, those international degree programs, then you do not need to show us your German level as a requirement to enter university. But for sure, I think if you study in another country, it's also nice if you speak a little bit their language. We have more options to choose from in your studies with German language. I think in total 20,000, but still 2,000 is maybe you would find something interesting to study. Speaking about requirements, I think it was super good that you changed your system from K to 10 to K to 12. So this now makes it easier for you to enter the bachelor programs in Germany. You still would need to study 1 or 2 years in the Philippines on the bachelor level before you can transfer to Germany. But it's much better than before. And for the master, it's the same. But here, universities in Germany have a little bit more freedom. If you explain, I come from the K-12 system, then they would also maybe accept you without studying for 1 year on the master level here. We don't have time to talk now about the admission for German universities or for a visa, but especially for the visa, if you look at the page at the embassy, it's very well explained. And for the German universities, it's very easy, but we can talk about this maybe in the chat later, also on the fair. I think an asset is for studying in Germany that we do not charge tuition fee. Because we believe in education should be free and accessible for everybody. So it's the German taxpayer who is financing schools and universities also for international students. What you need to pay is a semester contribution. Depending where you live, where you study, you need to pay 200 to 300 euros a semester, so every half a year. But you will get something for it. For example, the semester ticket, which I loved when I was a student because I lived in Berlin, and a monthly ticket there. If you want to ride bus and U-Bahn, S-Bahn, train in the area, a monthly ticket costs 84 euros now. Multiply 6, yeah, you end up paying 500 just for transportation. So if you're a student, I think paying the semester contribution is a very good deal. Apart from this, these are the costs that you need to estimate when you live in Germany, but sure, it also depends where you live. Munich is more expensive. Okay, and then there might be cities which might be a bit cheaper, but I think 800, you really need to count that you need to pay this. And if you say, oh my God, how can I pay 800 euros every month? Then you should check out the funding guide. This is the link where you can find around 80 scholarships right now available for Filipinos. Yes, also no time to speak now about the selection of scholarships, but as I said, there are so many, you really need to look what are the requirements and what is it what you really need, and then maybe you drop me an email if you want to find out more about this specific scholarship you found. With or without a scholarship, maybe you want to have some extra pocket money, and it's okay, you can work part-time without a special work permit if you are a student. And even after your graduation, you can stay in Germany and work without a special work permit for 18 months. After this 18 months, you should have a job somehow related to your studies to get the blue card and to stay and to work in Germany. Yes, to sum it up, 5 reasons why you should study in Germany. First of all, I think quality is the word that stands for Germany. Quality products, quality in education. We have an international profile, and you are relevant for our labor market. We really want you to stay in Germany to work with us, or if you go back to your home country, please stay with us in touch. Let's work together. We are affordable, and we have a very good living environment with clean air and great nature, good food, and safe. So welcome to the land of ideas. Any questions? Yes, no problem. I was waiting here the whole day just for the presentation, and it would have been very sad if nobody would have seen it. Okay, the chat goes so fast. Can you share my email? Yes, it's also on the FAIR platform. But here it is. It's daad.manila@gmail.com. And there is a question with a Korean background, but I am more an expert now about if you have a Filipino education background. For if you studied in Korea, then I would recommend that you contact the DAAD in Korea. How, okay, there's so many questions. English as a medium instead of TOEFL for English. Okay, yes, so if you do, there is this question, do universities in Germany accept English as a medium of instruction certificate instead of TOEFL for English course? Yes, a lot of universities just accept this because you can prove that English is the official language in the Philippines. If you apply for a scholarship, then the DAAD at least needs a TOEFL result. But right now, because of the pandemic, they don't need it. Okay, so if you apply now for a scholarship to start studying next year, you do not need to present such test results because they know mobility is not really what we can do now in the Philippines. Can this presentation be uploaded? I can try to upload this on the platform, no problem. And what else? I am sorry. There are so many questions, and I hope you can all ask them again in the chat, like on the platform chat. Is Germany open for internships for pharmacy? Internships is not really my expertise because this is already involving working, and I am more from the study university side. But I think if you find a company who wants to accommodate you, why not? And then it's a visa question, but I'm also not from the visa section. How about finishing 3 years of bachelor degree in the Philippines? Can we still get scholarships to continue our study in Germany? Yes, yes. The higher your level here in the Philippines, also I would say the more options you have in Germany, also with scholarships. So after you did your bachelor degree here, yeah, yes, no problem. So do universities in Germany accept, okay, I did this already. Do you offer exchange programs? No, the name is maybe misleading. It's German Academic Exchange Service, but the exchange is more, we give scholarships for Germans to study, for example, in the Philippines or around the world, and we give scholarships for internationals, but there is not such an exchange thing that student A lives with student B and then vice versa. Is K-12 required for me to get a grant in DAAD? No, not at all. You don't need to be a graduate of the K-12 system because there are only a few batches that graduated already, and the DAAD is 40 years already in the Philippines. Yes, we celebrate our 40 years anniversary this year, this September actually. So no, and the K-12 system is very new. No, it's more a question of what program you can start in Germany with a as a K-10 graduate. If you are only K-10, then you would have need to study it in the Philippines for a full bachelor, and this would allow you to study a bachelor in Germany. But this is because in Germany, we are not allowed to go to your university if we did not go to school for 12 or 13 years, like you do now. Okay, and as a K-10, you're lacking 2 to 3 years of education. And to fill this gap, they said as a K-10 graduate, you first need to study a bachelor degree here, at least 3 years, excuse me, before you go to study a bachelor in Germany. I forgot to bring some water with me. Is the idea scholarship involve all graduate programs or only selected programs? Only selected programs. Because we do have 20,000 programs in Germany. Like the universities are offering in total 20,000, and the DAAD only sponsors a selection. Sorry, and I'm alone here. Maybe some coffee. Can we watch the video again and where? I don't know. This we should ask the organizers. I'm sorry. Okay. Annabin seemed to provide less information on recognized degrees. How do we know exactly if our degree are recognized there? Yes. Annabin, unfortunately, has a lot of knowledge gaps. This is because apparently for this region, there is only one person sitting and trying to complete the Annabin database. I would say if your university or we're talking about universities, right? If your university is state recognized by the Philippine government, by CHET, that's already a big bonus. And then you will find an H+. That means accepted in Germany. If there is H+ minus in Annabin, it means that your institution might be a private one, but at least partly state recognized by CHET. So now we need to find out if the course you studied and you have your degree in, if this one is also state recognized by CHET. And to find out whether it is or not, one way would be to go to the office of your university and show them your diploma, because there should be something like a stamp or a little signature that exactly proves this. It's also for me not really clear where we can see this, but if the office at the university you studied don't want to help or cannot help, I think they can, or if maybe it's not possible for you to go there, you can send it also to me and I can forward it to something like Annabin, and then they will tell me, but usually it takes them 6 weeks to answer, whether your program you studied and you have your degree in is state recognized or not. If it is, then we can count this as your academic background, and then we can work with, okay, what enables your background you to study in Germany. It sounds complicated, and it is, but it's manageable, okay, because there are already some Filipino students studying in Germany, so we can do, but it's, yes, it's not so easy. And I know that private institutions are, there are more private institutions in the Philippines than state institutions. That's the opposite in Germany. If I'm planning to get a PhD degree in Germany and I have a master's degree, do I need to do additional years of education to qualify? No, if you have a Philippine master degree, then the next step would be to find a doctor father or a structured PhD program in Germany. It is a little easier if you would start your PhD already here, maybe for 1 year, but not necessarily. But it is not so easy to find a doctor father or like a supervisor. So you increase your chances by starting already here in the Philippines. But in general, no need to. Okay. Could you please repeat the 1 to 2 years additional study requirement for those who did not undergo K-12? If you did not undergo K-12 and only went 10 years to school, we have the 10 years. And then in Germany, we had to go 13 years. to school. So you see there is an education gap of years, 2 to 3 years, that you studied less in the old system. And it would be quite unfair if Germany would say, okay, dear Germans, you are only allowed to university if you studied, let's say, 13 years. It depends on the federal state. If you went 13 years successful to school, only then you can enter the university for a bachelor degree. But to allow international students to enter a bachelor program with less years of education, okay? And because the K to 10 obviously is lacking 3 years of education, they say a Filipino has first to study a bachelor program in the Philippines for at least 3 years. And then you are allowed to enter the bachelor program in Germany. And maybe you think, oh no, why should I study the same thing like I already did in the Philippines? Then let me assure you, because I also work here at UP, it's not the same, because as a K to 10, you also had less general education. And this general education you had until recently covered in your bachelor degree program. You had 40% of general education classes. But in Germany, if you study mathematics or computer science, you only study computer science. There is no PE you have to do, or there is no foreign language class you have to take as part of the general education. It's only computer science you study. So actually we can compare it with the old system, master in the Philippines. Then for you, if you go for a bachelor degree in Germany. Now it all changed with the K to 12 system. Also, the universities had to adapt their curriculum for bachelor. So I was really talking now about the old system, okay?
Katja, so sorry to cut you off. We're running out of
And
time.
I see
but for
European
those,
higher education is jumping in.
Sorry, everyone. If you have additional questions to Miss Katya, you can visit their booth on our website, and then there's a public chat room, or you can directly chat with her, and then you can go ahead and ask your questions regarding Germany's higher education system.
Thank you. Salamat.
thank you everyone for tuning in, and we hope you can fill out the feedback form after the fair. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Tschüss. Auf Wiedersehen.